Yay! Awesome. Hello, everybody. Good morning from me, and I know it's a late good evening from Dewi, and I can see that we are live, and we are so excited to be with you today, and to spend some good time in soul and sister connection, and yeah, we're just coming to share some insights into what it is to lead from the playfulness of your soul today. So, Dewi, I just want to welcome you to my Facebook group. Thank you for being here with me today, sister. It's so wonderful to have you.
Aloha. Thank you so much, Shirley. Such an honor. And I have loved experiencing what you're up to in the group. And I'm a member. And yeah, just so cool to hang out with you today in the space.
Yay, fantastic. Thank you. And so, for those who are meeting Dewi for the first time, she is Dewi Maile Lim, her official name. She's a beautiful New Earth luminary and leads an incredible sisterhood in the New Earth of luminaries and has been doing it for quite some years now, sister. And so, Dewi, I'm just going to invite you to start off with a little bit about your story and how you lead way showers in the New Earth.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I feel like now is the time too where we're finding the others, finding each other, and connecting as these points and grids of light on the planet. And so I feel that's definitely what brought you and I together, Shirley. So for most of my life that I can remember, I've always been in some kind of leadership position, and really my whole world opened up to everything I thought and believed that I knew was actually kind of inside out and backwards at a fairly early age, like my last year of college. I read a book called The Emperor Wears No Clothes, and it talked about the cannabis plant and how so much of this sacred medicine and plant had been suppressed. And so it just opened my whole world up to a whole new, like, what's really going on investigation. I went to New York City after college, and my whole world opened up to a lot of different things that I perceived as injustices and some pretty heinous stuff that was going on the planet, including I even through all of this like humanitarian crisis and things that I were finding out about the the suppression of our planet through her medicine and the herbal, just the plant, like suppression of a plant to me just did not make sense. And that was like the one kind of activism thread that I carried with me throughout that entire time. So I started going to these large demonstrations and rallies. And I realized, as I was fighting for peace and justice, that I really didn't feel that inside myself. And initially, even as a young girl, thought that I was going to be like on this front lines of the revolution, and I thought it was going to like happen in the streets at these demonstrations. But I saw even within these movements a lot of infighting, and everyone was kind of fighting for the same thing, but no one could find that common ground because there was a lot of ego involved. And so really got disillusioned. That's when I turned within to, you know, I had this coming to kind of Jesus moment where I was like, I don't feel peace inside myself. How can I demand this peace out there? And I just stopped my whole involvement with things like that because it was really nonsensical to me that I would be fighting for peace. And that's when I started my inner journey. Fast forward to today, like there's one thing, like in terms of my business and kind of my sacred mission in the world. um, all through that time in New York, I dabbled in different entrepreneurial things or worked for myself, freelanced. I'm an artist at heart. That's one thread throughout my entire life that has been with me, identifying as a creative. And so, and then a lot of like healing after that happened, doing my own inner work and discovering myself and who I was. So that was like, it has been like a good 22-year journey, of from that, wake up moment to now. And all through that time, I've always, even when I was younger, I've always loved gathering with women. I used to write pen pals to women, the girls all over the world. So I've always used, since the advent of social media coming along, I've always used technology as a way to connect with
Beautiful.
people that are outside and within my community, but all over the world. And so I've kind of like these different ideas of creativity and community and being on the front lines of like this global change. These are all elements that have stuck with me throughout my entire life, pretty much. And I created my business movement around it, New Earth Luminary. And I really have honed in on supporting medicine women and women who identify as priestesses, with their inner and outer support, community, and resources to just recharge and thrive as we serve on the front lines. And that can look like different things for everyone. You know, our own piece of the puzzle is ours to discover and uncover and refine and recommit to along the way as it shifts and our paths meander. But I just feel so blessed to be alive at this time on the planet because I really like my tagline of my business is like, we came here for this. So that's really at the forefront of all my messaging and everything that I share. And I just love collaboration too. I believe that, you know, this new paradigm is about collaboration truly in a way we have yet to even fully experience in our lives. And so we are here, Shirley and I, and all of us in this field, like I see us
Absolutely.
standing shoulder to shoulder, you know, like going for it. And it takes a lot of courage to be a way shower in these times, and a lot of trust. So these are themes that come up in my
Absolutely.
work as well.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that, Dewi. Thank you so much for weaving it like that, because I know you've been leading luminaries, and I knew that had a priestess aspect, and I knew you had this creative aspect. But I really love the way you've kind of woven all those threads together. And I just want to drop in and say welcome to everybody who might be joining us live. I just want to check if anybody's in the comments. No comments yet. I didn't do a proper welcome at the beginning. So please, if you are managing to catch us live, because I know we're on radically different time zones, the two of us, please drop in and say hi, comment in the chat, if anything already is coming up for you, around these themes of shifting from being an external activist to grounding your internal, right? That is such a potent theme, and I love that you brought that in because it's so relevant right now. That's a big theme for
Yes.
me of us as way showers, like just committing to the inner journey. And that I think when we commit to it, that's when we step into this place where suddenly we find our priestess energy and our priest energy. We find this divine union between the masculine and the feminine. And that's really the fabric of soul reality that is for me the new earth reality, right? That's the
Yes.
that's the conscious energetics of it, which I love. So
Yes.
yeah.
And I'll
Mm.
say this could segue us into, you know, what where we go next is so when the divine feminine and the divine masculine come together in that pinnacle creation moment, there becomes the divine child. And so there's that aspect of ourselves too that is like the it's like the Trinity, you know, the Holy
Yeah.
Trinity that I see is when like
Mm.
there is that union, then like what comes of a union, you know, in that kind of a quintessential dynamic, you know, of the man energy, the female energy, and then the child. So that playful energy of the inner child and that, you know, connecting to that part of myself has been a big part of my journey. And I worked with kids as well through this process, doing creativity. And I truly believe that all of us have that creator energy in ourselves. It just gets stunted or shunned or like made wrong or judged along the way, oftentimes in so many people's lives. And then we shut that down or we like say, I'm not an artist or whatever the story is right around our creativity. And so, yeah, I wanted to piece that in with this divine
Yeah.
union piece.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. I love this the Trinity that you've brought in, because kind of in my world I bring that Trinity in as the androgynous soul that is birthed through this union of the masculine and the feminine, right? So it's a very similar kind of concept. And it comes, when we meet our soul is so playful. Like when we see ourselves in soul, we're a younger, playful version of ourselves because we've connected to this life force energy, right? Um, and so it kind of it feels like a good way to lead Dewi to this place. I mean, that I'm all about mission, right? And for me, this group is all about how can people find their mission as deeply as possible, as quickly as possible, because we've got so much work to do as the collective. Um, and so I would love for you to weave in the piece of using this playfulness and this creativity and this childlike innocence to unlock mission. If you can kind of bring it in that way, I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
mm,
yeah. I feel like what most wants to come through right now is this quality of the child, like in the freest sense, is like curiosity and wonder. And so, even if we don't necessarily have a like concrete way to express our mission, or if we're on our journey to be able to kind of verbalize or actualize that at the fullest potential that it's meant to be expressed in this life, um just simply being in that energetic of curiosity and wonder can be so miraculous, because we're not grasping or trying to make sense of what we think and believe we know that this means or that means, and we can kind of have more levity around this idea of sacred mission, because for some, this idea of purpose or having like a reason for being can have some heaviness too, just depending on
yeah,
like
it's true.
this like there's something inside, I believe, that all of us that are in this space, it's like we know we're here to midwife this shift on our planet, right? And it could simply be by being in this energetic of curiosity and wonder, because it's those that are like so stuck in like this is how it's been and this is how it's going to be, and having the storyline of like, well, there's
Yeah,
like thousands of years of this archaic dense energy, and like we can get down these rabbit holes of like, oh, it's such a big task to move through
yeah.
this
It's
density.
never gonna shift. Mm,
Right, right. And
yeah,
it's like we're not going to, by like meandering down that rabbit hole of like consciously trying to think, or like rationally trying to make sense of how we're going to, it's just really like being in the space of possibility. And so that child energy to me really lends itself to that. And then we can explore and discover, and like, even if I know what my sacred mission is right now, like it doesn't mean tomorrow I'm going to get a next piece of information and download, upload, to come in and be like, oh, there's a
totally.
refinement. Oh, I'm going to pivot, like there's this audience or this person that's needing me and I feel compelled. So it's like we don't need to also pigeonhole ourselves into like it having to look and feel one way, although it can be very beneficial, as we know, when we're putting kind of like a lens of like, well, we're wanting to gather a certain group of people, or like the messaging part, like to be able to speak to it is important. Like if you are wanting to put the call out, to have other people come play alongside of you and play and pray, I use those words together.
Beautiful,
And so
beautiful.
there's a it does need to be grounded in a way
Yeah,
in like
yeah.
a packaged up sometimes, to be able to call forth and bring that thread more to life and embodiment. But and the piece that I really want to convey about this childlike wonder and energy is like, even if we are sure of what it is, we can still bring that energy and kind of just be delighted and surprised by like where it takes us, and just kind of
Mm,
putting it out there for myself too. Like my guiding is my guiding prayer is like, let me be delighted and surprised by like the impact that I can have, the people that I can meet, the resources that I can access, and kind of takes the pressure off of us having
Yeah.
to like have it look a certain way, or fulfill a certain type of I mean, if you have concrete like goals that you want to achieve, then yes, by all means, like have that container. But
Yeah,
also
for sure.
maybe you can be like quantum leaped into like a whole nother way of being with it if you just allow yourself that levity and openness
Yeah.
at the
Yeah,
same
I love that.
time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a really beautiful piece you're weaving in there, because it's also quite it's this balance between the feminine and masculine, where you have the structure and you say, I'm an entrepreneur in business and I help these people and this is what I do. But with this high feminine frequency, where we all are holding the same vision at a very high level, which is, ushering in the new earth. And sometimes it's so hard to bring that expansiveness down into structure.
Yes.
And because of our old programming, we see it as a linear path, So it's like, well, I made $1,000 from my audience last month. I'm going to do the same this month, for example, if we're just talking money and, running a business. Or it's like, oh, well, I called myself that last month and now I'm changing and now I don't know how to reintroduce myself to my audience. And so, like, we can get really caught up in the how and the structure and kind of get in our own way. And yet, I think what you're bringing in, this playfulness, this expansiveness, it breaks the mind control at some level. It breaks the pattern, right? And it just allows us to open ourselves to receiving this beautiful vision and let it flow through us, and then just bring radical change and quantum leap that change and bring it quickly, right?
Yeah, yeah, so beautiful. Yeah, and I love that you're weaving that piece in because it's like the both and of it all. And just that, like that 0 point into presence in any given moment, to be able to listen and navigate and make sure that you are continuously in alignment, that what you're moving forward on is still you know proceeding down that soul path that is most unique to you and most for you. And I feel like once we're really on this, though, we're on it, and it's like
Yeah,
it's just kind of like, okay, here's the magical joyride that we get to keep opening
beautiful.
ourselves up to. And for some, like you, what I know about your work, Shirley, like you're very um you have like very specific missions. You're
Mm,
doing like
mm,
gritting, and like you're
mm,
you're
mm,
you're doing like
mm,
mission specific, like actual missions.
mm,
So
mm.
there might be actual missions for you to go on, or like quests. And I love
Yeah,
the other part of like really looking at this is like we are the hero, the heroine of our own
yeah.
journey, and we're on this quest, to unlock all of the the beauty that's there for
The
us. And also,
potentiality.
yes, and that's the thing too. I love this idea of like the
Mm,
beauty way, and like really
mm,
cultivating beauty. And that's why I do love art and creativity too,
mm,
is that,
mm.
and creating from this place, is because it's like it's every client I work with that we create something and birth. It's like it's their signature through their own creation that they then have. Like if we do painting, for example, they have this piece that's like representative of their journey that they can look at, use as
Yeah,
an
yeah.
oracle,
As a visual, beautiful.
connect with. Yeah, it's like their own power symbol, or actually like sometimes a figure appears depending on how I guide the journey. I call them painting vision quests. And
Beautiful. I
yeah,
love that.
so the figure will appear, and then you have this like oracle aspect of yourself
Mm,
that allows you to do like parts work, or like it's like
mm.
that high self, whatever that energetic that
Yeah, it's
we're.
like an unseen guide that's filtering that vision down to you, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Yeah,
you. It's like came from you,
of
so it's
course.
so
Absolutely.
cool that it's that's the way we can play and pray with our own creations in that like physical, like literal sense.
Mm,
So that's one of the things I love doing the most is really guiding women through these creative processes. And it's amazing to see too how different everyone's piece looks. If it's a group
Yeah.
environment, sometimes like they're like everybody is surprised by what comes through. It's amazing to see. It's not like a paint and sip where it's like, here's a sunset, we're all going to paint the same
For
sunset.
sure, of
So
course.
everybody's got
No, no.
completely different colors.
Find it for yourself. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love it. No, totally. I mean, that's new paradigm, right? Find it for yourself. It's your own path to unlock. That's wonderful. Yeah, so sister, that feels like a really kind of good segue. I know that you were planning to maybe take us through some little exercise or meditation or activation. It feels like a great opportunity to do that because I know I have some incredible people in my audience, and I know they come back and watch pretty much everything I put out. So I'd love them to have an opportunity to experience something like that.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for this opportunity. We can all, if it feels good, close our eyes. I'm going to take about 5 minutes for this approximately. And just breathe into that still point in your heart. Say aloha to your creative one within now. And aloha is a beautiful word to use from Olaloha Wai'i. It's a Hawaiian word that means sharing of breath. The ha is the breath. So it's like aloha is like sharing that breath of life with that part of yourself that does breathe life into the world. That is that creatrix, creator, energetic. And now see if you're aware of this aspect of yourself as a little one, maybe your little girl, your little boy, whatever, however you identify yourself as that little one within. And remember a time where you just were playful and creative, you felt so free. You're in that beautiful energetic of just that divine innocent play. And you're with your friends and everyone is in like a creative mood. And here we're gathering around in like this creative playroom now, all of us here. And I want you to, we're going to use our hands for this. Just imagine now in front of you, we're all here in this creative classroom that is like just got a really beautiful energy of freedom and joy. And with your hands, you can go ahead and extend them out in front of you or to the side, just kind of from this central point of your body, extending from your heart. Your arms are extensions of your heart. And so you're going to take your arms and create like a rectangle all around in front of you. And this is like your what's called a visionary screen. So from now on, you can take your any time where you really want to drop into this creatrix energy, you can just kind of imagine in front of you this visionary screen, and it's blank slate. So you get to paint, dance, write, emote, act out, intuit, anything you want on this visionary screen of yours. And just take a moment to see if there's an image that pops up or some kind of symbol or energetic or feeling tone that arises when you ask yourself the question, what do I most want to create in this new earth paradigm? What is mine to create? Just see what comes up, what sensations. Maybe there's an image. See it, feel it, allow it to appear on your visionary screen. And just take a note of what that is. And we're going to bring this into completion for now, but just know that at any time where you feel stuck or some density, or you just need to kind of somatically move the energy in your body, you need a phase state shift, you can come back within, connect to your inner one, your little creative one within, that free to express aspect of yourself, that aspect of self that is liberated and delights in creative pursuits. Just know that this aspect of yourself is always here, available to connect with, to vision with, to be in your creatrix energy with. And thank yourself, thank this aspect of self for coming to play and pray with us today. Thank your visionary screen. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, taking that symbol with you into your day.
Beautiful. Hmm.
Yes.
Wow. Yo. Yeah, I love that, sister. Sure.
Did you have
I
any?
went on a little journey. I went on a little
Yeah, yeah,
journey.
I know. Did you have what came
Yeah,
up
I
for
think.
you?
Well, it was interesting because when you first sort of introduced it and you were like connect back to that childhood version of you, I found this creative space, and as I was going back to it, I realized how serious I had been in a child and I as a child in some ways, and I actually was like removing that seriousness as I went back to find that space. So it was quite transmutating as as such as I got there, which was really beautiful. And then I found that space, and I love this idea of the screen because for me, it also mirrors this idea of multidimensional presence, right? So it brings us into this extension of our soul. So that was really a powerful tool for me. And I saw myself as a little ballerina, which is just so sweet because I was so more like into sports and almost more like a boyish, tomboyish when I was young. And I felt like this ballerina, and she was just so like full of joy. And it was like, the message was like, bring that feminine essence through, reclaim that feminine essence and bring it through and bring through this joy and this freedom, right? Which is so much a deeper grounding of who I am in the earth grids. And yet that's just such a beautiful way of bringing it into lightness and joy and creativity and, all the things that you've been bringing in your message today. So I loved it. It was beautiful. Thank you.
I love seeing
Yeah.
you as your in your ballerina self. I love that.
Yeah,
So
for
precious.
sure. And yeah, and even as we're chatting today, and in this group, I'm going to be pivoting and bringing in much more co-creative energy. Like you said, collective energy is so important, and co-creation is so important. And I'm also reaching these places in my mission where I'm working with over higher oversoul, like monad frequencies, and that's where we all connect, right? That's the collective timeline that's leading all of us. And so it's just, yeah, it's beautiful to snowball into this space, to also bring you into the space, to be bringing more people into the space, and just really bringing us to collective visioning, right? And collective abundance. Actually, that's what it is too.
Yeah, I
Joy,
love that.
abundance, everything.
I love that so much. Yeah, everything you say always resonates with me so much. And the final thing I'll kind of share about what we're doing here, like what's really going on with our grid work and our missions, and how I see it is that we are the it's so important that we get into the imaginal space, that we access this infinite possibility space through however you get to access it, because we can't, we're not going to be creating and continuing to anchor this in by like coming from like some like boxed old
Yeah.
paradigm way, right? So
Mind.
it really behooves us to, you know, open up to more of this creative spirit within, because that's from which all, like from creative energies from which all else is birthed and flows, right? So
Yeah,
just really
for
seeing
sure.
ourselves as life artists, as, you know, new paradigm artists, to see like everything, that every breath we take, every step we take, it's like all in alignment with this beautiful canvas that we're adding to, and it's becomes a huge infinite mural, right? Where I've never had this
100%.
this analogy come through, but it's like an infinite mural, you know, that we're all
Yeah.
individually and collectively contributing our own beautiful expression to and through. So I love that that just came through, because that's really what I see is happening.
Yeah, 100%. Quantum reality, baby. That's what's going to save us. Yeah, I love it. Awesome. So, Dewi, just before we end, is there anything that you are creating right now that, or any program that you've got to share that's maybe if somebody's kind of resonant with you, they might want to drop into, or?
Yeah, yeah. Well, next month, which will be October, at the time of this recording, next month is October. So I'm going to be relaunching my Sovereign Creatrix membership program. And it's really the place for wayshowers, guides, and medicine women to come and recharge and refill their cups, and to get into more of these types of creative processes where we get into that quantum space from that creative angle, and doing um an activation every month that does involve creativity, and then bringing in people like you. I didn't ask you yet, Shirley, but I would definitely want to feature
Love to.
other people like you to have
Mhm.
like a deep dive into your work and how you're weaving this into the world. So, you know, if you're someone who would like to be exposed to new community and you would like to collaborate with me, you can reach out for that, and or to be a part of this group. And I do have like, if you would like to get a taste of what it's like to be in my space and field, I have a really cool free gift. It's called You Oracle, and it's a in-depth play shop where you can create your own oracle deck based on
Love it.
some energetic story or past experience that you're wanting to transmute, and you create your own handmade deck of cards. And I've had different sisters say, "Oh my gosh, this is like they have it on their, you know, all their table, that they use it every day, because it's your own divination tool and you are the one that is like the person who's channeled these cards." So if you're curious about that, I can give you the link, Shirley, if you want to add it in.
Yeah, perfect. I will. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great way to stay in touch, or just find me in all
Yay.
the places.
Beautiful. I love it. Yay. Thank you, sister. Thank you so much for bringing your heart and your energy today, and honoring you and the work you're doing in the new earth. And yeah, together we rise, right? Together we rise.
Yay!
Mm,
Exactly.
yay. Exactly. I just want to double check. Nobody's commented, but I know people are going to come back. So when you catch us on the replay, please share what comes through in your heart, what comes through for you about your creativity, connecting to your inner child. Yeah, what did you get from this activation? We'd love to hear from you. And Dewi is in this group, and I will put all your links in there so you can connect with her anytime. Yay, thank you. Yay,
Thank you
lots of
so
love.
much.
Bye.
Aloha, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Perfect. Stop the recording.